How's it going, y'all? Warhorse here with BeyondReturnGaming, bringing you a replay of mine in which I'm playing probably one of the rarer tanks to see at Tier 5. The tank in question is the Tier 5 Premium American Medium Tank, the Ram 2. And it's not rare because you've got to go out and do some ridiculous challenge to get it, and it's not something that beta testers got or anything like that. It's just I don't see a whole lot of them, and I think there's a couple reasons to that. One is it's such an odd tank compared to American medium tanks. You look at the M4 Sherman at Tier 5, it has its choice of two top-tier guns, the 76mm M1A1 or the 105mm derp gun, both doing pretty good damage, the 76 having the better rate of fire and penetration, but the 105 being able to one-shot Tier 4s and 3 tanks if the shot hits right. The EZ8 or the Sherman Jumbo have similar gun configurations, 76mm or 105mm. The Ram 2 utilizes a 6-pounder gun, and it's actually a Canadian tank. But that 6-pounder gun gives you a couple of distinct advantages and disadvantages compared to other medium tanks. One of the advantages is rate of fire. One of the disadvantages is damage. About 70 damage per shot is what you would averagely see firing that gun at someone. And you need that high rate of fire because while this thing has a decent enough damage per minute and is able to pick apart targets, keep in mind this is a Tier 4 medium tank I'm shooting at, and it takes me 5 shots to kill the thing. That gives him enough time with his derp gun to reload and hit me and break my gun, well, damage my gun, before I'm able to finally kill him. 5 shots for a Tier 4 medium tank. And the Ram 2 doesn't get preferential matchmaking. So imagine taking this tank into a Tier 7 match and trying to shoot a Tiger 1 or shoot a Tog 2 at Tier 6. 1500 HP is going to be a lot of HP to chip away. It'd be like taking a BB gun and shooting at a can and seeing how many shots it takes before you can get to the other side. This gun is like it's a pea gun compared to what other tanks are going to be fielding. Like the M4 that hit me is probably running the 76mm gun, and he could easily 4-shot me, and I would have to sit there and hit him 10 times before I could kill him potentially. One thing though that rate of fire does allow you to do is when you're top tier, like I am in this match, is to just bully other tanks, because if a tank doesn't have as much armor as you, and they certainly don't have as many hit points as you, you can use your rate of fire to just pick them to pieces. And sitting here on airfield, if you can get in positions where I am, where you can get a little bit of map control, you can cover both sides of the map, the rate of fire is very substantial. You've got plenty of targets to shoot at. The Ram 2 does boast quite a bit of ammunition, and you can just sit there and pick apart your targets. Like this Churchill 1, I hit him once, but then I see the T-34. He's a lot more inviting of a target because he's not looking at me, for one, and two, he has weaker armor, so I'm able to just keep the gun firing and chip away at his HP. And granted, he has a 57mm, so his reload's almost on par with mine. It ain't as good. And when the Churchill 1 does decide to, attack me, I have teammates who are shooting him in the back, and we're able to take him out pretty effectively. And also, the Ram 2 does boast quite a bit of armor, at least compared to what Tier 3s and 4s can shoot at you. The Type 95, and then there's a Chi-Ha that comes over on my right side, and they're small, like little 47mm, 37mm guns. Can't deal with a Ram 2. I'm able to easily block their shots and use my rate of fire that's just as good, if not better than theirs, to completely destroy them. And that's why I think you don't see a lot of Ram 2s, is when you look at the American tech tree, no one really looks at the Tier 5s. When you play World of Tanks, you look at the Tier 8s, the Tier 9s and 10s, the big boy tanks. And when you do get a Ram 2 or something, and you look at the gun and see how much damage it does compared to how much damage for, let's say, the T-14, which is the Tier 5 premium heavy tank, does, why would you want a Ram 2 when you can see Tier 7 matches when the T-14 gets preferential matchmaking and does more damage per shot? Now, I'm not saying the Ram 2 is a bad tank. In no means is it a bad tank, and obviously me sitting here on 4 kills shows that when it's top dog in a match, it can rip apart its opposition, no problem. But it does take a special kind of playstyle to use a Ram effectively. The Ram 2 is a close range to medium range style tank, because the aim time is mediocre, but the rate of fire is so good that unless you're running the proper equipment or crew skills, you're going to be shooting faster than you can aim. And even with all of the stuff I mentioned, you can still shoot faster than you can aim. So it's very important to know when to aim and when not to aim, because if you're shooting at long range and having to aim every shot at a weak spot, you're not going to get the full DPM effect. But if you're at close range and can get around the sides or rear of a tank and just fire shot after shot after shot, you're going to see that damage stack up. 'Cause 70 damage every 2 seconds done to a tank is very annoying, especially if you're a Tiger 2 and some ram's just shooting you in the side because you're too worried about the IS in front of you. Sitting on 5 kills though, it's been a pretty good game, but we can make it better. That long bomb is busy dealing with the heavy tank on my team, and that gives me the perfect opportunity to use the decent mobility of the Ram 2 to climb the hill, promptly drive up behind him, and then use my rate of fire to just shred him. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots, and 4 shots. And that's game. 6 kills in the Ram 2 for 1,953 damage. I even blocked 987 damage from those little tanks that managed to get my sides, and that's a high caliber and an ace tanker. I even got the steel wall. The Ram 2 is not a bad tank. Like I said, it just takes a little bit of knowledge of how to use the tank and have to have a little bit of the right matchmaking, so in a way it just takes a little bit of skill and luck to use the Ram 2. But it is a very good tank. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next one.